of religious thought here in Central Mass. My name is Lisa Whittemore, and I'm your worship associate today. We Unitarian Universalists are a non-creedal, religiously liberal faith tradition. We hold in our worship and in our faith formation that each individual and each community will explore a wide and varied set of beliefs to live life as a spiritual journey, deepening our connections to compassion, justice, and an understanding of eternal truths. All are invited to join us after the service for coffee hour and conversation. I do have a few announcements this morning. On Saturday, November 9th at 2 p.m., First Parish will hold a farewell ceremony for a beloved member of our congregation, Nancy Lapel. Nancy's partner, Susan Falland, shared their journey online, and we deeply appreciate her efforts to keep us connected. Nancy was a vital part of our community, and many friends will be coming for the service. Later that same day, Saturday, November 9th, 7 p.m., Cara Brindisi will be in concert right here in the Meeting House, so come and enjoy that. Take a moment right now to make sure that your cell phones are either turned off or silenced so that we don't enjoy your conversation during the service. And now I invite you to greet your neighbors here in the Meeting House. And now, those of us online, say hello. I welcome you to our lay-led service by Rick Rayberg, Poetry, a Guide for Living Life.
May I make one announcement?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. One more announcement.
I'm sorry. Is this on? Okay. Hi. This is from Reverend Steve. He asks that I remind people that the writing group is meeting tomorrow night at 7 in the Clara Barton, and the assignment, so to speak, is to write something about your routine or your morning routine, or you wish what your morning routine was going to be. I've been attending. It's a great group. It's lots of sharing, and if you don't write something, you can still come, but it's tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Claire Barton Room in Parish Hall. Thanks.
And it's also available online.
Yes, and it's online as well.
Welcome to our service.
Thank you, Olga. Good morning. My name is Rick Rayberg, and my wife Rita and I have been members of the congregations since long before the turn of the century. Yes, I'm older than dirt, but I'm okay with that. In fact, I can even rejoice in it. Since I have been a UU for so long, it should come as no surprise to anyone that I believe in valuing the worth and dignity of each person. Now comes the key word, intentions. I have the intention to interact with each of you in such a way that we can feel the kindness, caring, comfort, and yes, joy in our interactions. I also intend to keep alive wonder and astonishment for interacting with the world in general. I have found that I do not always, seldom according to some, live into my intentions enough to bring them alive. This is where the poems and short quotes come in. They are reminders to me to actually behave according to these intentions. I hope you appreciate them, and perhaps some of you will connect with these ideas as well. During this service, I hope you can feel kindness, comfort, and even some joy.
Like You by Roque Dalton. Like you, I love life, the sweet smell of things, the sky blue landscape of January days, and my blood boils up and I laugh through eyes that have known the buds of tears. I believe the world is beautiful and that poetry, like bread, is for everyone. And that my veins don't end in me, but in the unanimous blood of those who struggle for life, love, little things, landscape and bread, the poetry of everyone.
So we'll now have our opening hymn. Number 188, Come, Come, whoever you are. A few days a week, this is the last poem I say to myself before getting up. Why I Wake Up Early by Mary Oliver.
Hello, sun in my face. Hello, you who make the morning and spread it over the fields and into the faces of the tulips and nodding morning glories, and into the windows of even the miserable and crotchety. Best preacher that ever was, dear star, who just happens to be where you are in the universe, to hold us, to ease us, to keep us from ever darkness, to ease us with warm touching, to hold us in the great hands of light. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Watch now how I start my day in happiness and kindness. While we're on the subject of Mary Oliver, she has some instructions for living life. Pay attention, be astonished, tell about it. To me, the thing about the instructions is that she doesn't say if you are astonished. In my mind, this is saying that if you pay attention deeply enough, you will be astonished, and that it is important to tell about it.
This is the time in our service when we share our joys and concerns. We believe that
Otherwise, by Jane Kenyon. Jane Kenyon wrote the poem after she received a diagnosis of leukemia. This illness eventually took her life in 1995. This poem is one of a posthumous collection called Otherwise and New and Selected Poems, 1996. Kenyon's husband, the American poet Donald Hall, edited the collection. Donald Hall had previously recovered from a serious illness. This poem helps me to face the reality of this finite life we are living. I got out of bed on 2 strong legs. It might have been otherwise. I ate cereal, sweet milk, ripe, flawless peach. It might have been otherwise. I took the dog uphill to the birch wood. All morning I did the work I love. At noon, I lay down with my mate. It might have been otherwise. We ate dinner at a table with silver candlesticks. It might have been otherwise. I slept in a bed in a room with paintings on the wall and planned another day just like this day. But one day I know it will be otherwise.
The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
Good morning. I'm going to read a tufts of flowers, and it occurred to me that a tufts is not a word that's used all that commonly, so I looked it up, and it only means a bunch, a collection of flowers in this case, or thread, or hair, or whatever, that's connected at the bottom. The other thing I'd say before I read it is, this is a poem about a person going out to turn over, rake, I think of it as hay, but grass that has been mowed earlier in the morning. Okay. I should also say, it's a favorite of Rick's, obviously. He chose the poems for today, but it was also a favorite of Dick Boutelier, who somehow, when he read it, produced the effect of a Vermont or upstate New York rural farmer or rural person. I will not attempt that. The tuft of flowers. I went to turn the grass once after one who moved it in the dew before the sun. The dew was gone that made his blade so keen before I came to view the leveled scene. I looked for him behind an aisle of trees. I listened for his whetstone on the breeze. But he had gone his way, the grass all mown, and I must be, as he had been, alone. As all must be, I said within my heart, whether they work together or apart. But as I said it, swift there passed me by, on noiseless wing, a bewildered butterfly, seeking with memories grown dim o'er night, some resting flower of yesterday's delight. And once I marked his flight go round and round, as where some flowers lay withering on the ground, and then he flew as far as I could see, and then on tremulous wings came back to me. I thought of questions that have no reply, and would have turned to toss the grass to dry, but he turned first and led my eye to look at a tall tuft of flowers beside a brook. a leaping tongue of bloom the sigh had spared. Beside a reedy brook, the side had bared. The mower in the dew had loved them thus by leaving them to flourish, not for us, nor yet to draw one thought of ours to him, but from sheer morning gladness at the brim. The butterfly and I had lit upon, nevertheless, a message from the dawn that made me hear the wakening birds around and hear his long sigh whispering to the ground. And feel a kindred spirit to my own. So henceforth, I worked no more alone. But glad with him, I worked as with his aid, and weary, sought at noon with him the shade, and dreaming as it were, held brotherly speech with one whose thought I had not hoped to reach. Men work together, I told him from the heart, whether they work together or apart.
This is the time for our offertory. Our financial offering each week is shared between the general operating fund of this church and a designated nonprofit. For the month of November, the half plate will be given to the UU Emergency Relief Fund, assisting survivors of recent devastating hurricanes. May we continue to be as generous as we are able. The offering for the work of this congregation will now be gratefully received and hopefully gratefully given. I was really grateful when Rick offered me the opportunity to read this next poem. I had a friend from years ago who sent me the collected works of Wendell Berry, who was many a late night companion for me. And this poem is one of my favorites as well. The Peace of Wild Things by Wendell Berry. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world, and I am free.
This is a bit shorter. It's called Japanese Bowl, and it actually are the lyrics for a song. And for some reason, that reminded me of another phrase from Leonard Cohen, another songwriter. There's a crack in everything that lets the light in. But here's Peter's version. I'm like one of those Japanese bowls that were made long ago. I have some cracks in me. They have been filled with gold. That's what they used back then when they had a bowl to mend. It did not hide the cracks. It made them shine instead. So now every old scar shows from every time I broke, and no one eyes can see I'm not what I used to be. But in a collector's mind, all of these jagged lines make me more beautiful and worth a higher price. I'm like one of those Japanese bowls. I was made long ago. I have some cracks you can see. See how they shine of gold.
I had a period in my life when I was reading a book, A Year with Rumi, translated by Coleman Barks. And I had dog-eared that book like crazy. And this is one of the poems from that book. And to me, it tells about the ebb and flow of our lives. Out of stillness, Rumi. I was happy to stay still inside the pearl, inside the shell. But the hurricane of experience lashed me out of hiding and made me a wave moving into shore, saying loudly the ocean's secret as I went, and then, spent there, I slept like a fog against the cliff. Another stillness.
We'll now have our closing hymn, number 329.
I actually have three things, two quotes I'll read. This first one, and two of them are from Ralph Waldo Emerson. This first one reminds me to live life today and not in the past. Finish each day and be done with it. You have done what you could do. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. You shall begin it serenely and with too high a spirit to be encumbered with your old nonsense. I just wanted to point out, in the order of service at the top, there's a quote from Thomas Merton, and I think it's profoundly important that we remember this quote. Our job is to love others without stopping to inquire whether or not they are worthy. This is not our business, and in fact, it's nobody's business. What we are asked to do is to love, and this love itself will render both ourselves and our neighbors worthy. So you don't need an excuse to love. The final quote is from Ralph Waldo Emerson again. This is my wish for you. Comfort on difficult days, smiles when sadness intrudes, rainbows to follow the clouds, laughter to kiss your lips, sunsets to warm your heart, hugs when spirits sag, beauty for your eyes to see, friendships to brighten your being, faith so that you can believe, confidence for when you doubt, courage to know yourself, patience to accept the truth, love to complete your life.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to make sure that we're all aware that the day after the election, Reverend Steve will be here starting at 11 for people to come and celebrate or commiserate, depending upon what happens. And, please feel free to come and join in this moment of community that we can have together. Thank you. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Please use the mic. It will also be on Zoom.